everybody, and welcome back to episode 121 of the Everything Moto Racing podcast. A little bit later than usual because we decided to wait for testing.
Woohoo!
I'm joined by Lauren, as always, as you can hear. Hello. Woo.
Hello. I thought that was the vibe we were going for.
Yeah, woo, testing. Yeah, sorry, it was. You matched the vibes. I clearly did not have the vibes. And Cameron is back.
Woo!
Yeah, there we go. Nice. That was good.
There you go. Hello.
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 So, we've got a lot to talk about. Shall we start with Bagnaia being crowned the champion?
Yeah, he did it.
He did.
Yeah, like just more consistent than any rival, and that wins you a title. Also fast as hell. So, you know.
Yeah, like we kind of said it from Portimao, didn't we? Like he's going to win, but then it looked like it would be a very dominant season from Bagnaia after Portimao when he did the both, but it hasn't been. And Martin has been. Oh, Wikipedia's been updated. This is nice. Sorry, they've like updated everything. Looks really nice.
Yes, the most trustworthy source of information.
I'm getting for the MotoGP results because no website apart from Wikipedia has the MotoGP results laid out just as well as Wikipedia.
Oh.
Yes. So, yeah, we all thought Bagnaia would kind of smash it after Portimao, but it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy year. I say topsy-turvy year. In the main race, he was on the podium for every single one, barring a DNF in India, France, and America, and that Catalan crash. So every race he finished, he was on the podium.
Rather impressive.
Which is rather impressive, yeah. Whereas Martin kind of made up his lost ground in the sprint races. Led the championship for, what was it, 23 hours, 59 minutes and 31 seconds or something?
What?
An
Is that
impressive
legit?
statistic.
That's legit, yeah. It was between the sprint and the main race. It was exact. Swinksy on Twitter worked it out. It was exactly that time, which is...
Was that India?
Or Nicky Kovic's, one of the two. Yeah, I believe it was India, yeah.
It was one of the flyaways, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was Indonesia, sorry.
My apologies.
India's where Pecco crashed, or didn't start. But yeah, like, Pecco's had a podium in every main race. Martin has he's won 9 sprint races, of course, but he was off the podium in the main races where the points are scored. 10th in Qatar, 4th in Malaysia, whereas Pecco's 3rd, 2nd. You're losing points left, right, and centre. And after Saturday, it was kind of like, oh, well, it's going to be done. It's going to be completed on Saturday. And then Martin went out and won the race. Pecco was 5th, and there was that slight glimmer of hope, wasn't there, that maybe the impossible can be done. Well, and then he...
Yeah. No, sorry, go on. Yeah, like, I'm probably just going to say exactly what you're going to say.
Which is that he was far too over-optimistic, not patient in the slightest, and caused a crash for Marquez and just chaos.
He rode like a rookie, I'm not going to lie. I mean, a very fast rookie, but he rode like a rookie, I think.
Yeah. It was a bit idiotic. I don't really know why he did it.
He nearly took Pecco down turn 1, didn't he?
No, I thought, God, imagine he'd take Pecco out. That would have been hilarious, although Pecco would have still won it. But, yeah.
Not if Martin stayed on, though.
Well.
Because he did stay on. If he'd taken Pecco out and Pecco could have the DNF and Martin finished 7th, it could have been enough. Well, no, if he finished 3rd, it would have been enough.
But anyway, I don't know. I just... Everyone keeps proving me wrong. I thought Jorge Martin wasn't going to make a mistake after the Saturday. I was like, okay, he's going to go out, he's going to win it. It probably won't be enough to win him the championship, but he'll go out and literally throw the kitchen sink at it. And he just did it completely.
He did throw the sink at it.
He threw the sink at Marquez, unfortunately.
He threw the sink out the window, unfortunately, not out the open door,
I'm not really sure what went on there and why he was getting on the way that he got on, but I suppose he's never been in that situation before, so...
Not in this class, no. Like,
not with that much on the line.
There's a hell of a lot of pressure. Yeah, like the amount of pressure to be the first rider to ever do it in a satellite team, and you've got Francesco Bagnaia. He had the promise of a factory seat because it was kind of confirmed that he would move to the factory squad for 2024 if he won the World Championship. So there was a lot on the line for him. There's a massive pay rise in there, even though it doesn't really isn't really short of money, as we saw from his Instagram today. Him and Alessio Spargo driving around in Porsche GT3s, which are about 300 grand car each.
You say $3,000? I was like, that's not.
I was like, yeah,
I'll take one. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lot of pressure on the line, and even just to win a GP World Championship, money and all that aside. So I get it, and it was a bit rash, though. I know that, like, his incident with Marquez, he's very lucky he didn't injure Mark.
Yeah, because it was nasty, man. I can't believe
it was horrendous.
He was like fine, for.
Did you see the video of Mark when he got up and he walked out, like, out the back?
Yeah, and he was like,
and he
dizzy
was like dizzy, and he had to like lean up against the van and stuff. And you're like, Jesus,
that was nasty.
Yeah, and I'm sad that Martin didn't, in the incident, say sorry. He did say sorry afterwards, of course, and they did trade helmets and stuff, which was nice. And he'd also trade it with the Pedrosa. But yeah, it was a shame to see Martin kind of buckle under the pressure a little bit. But it was, when you do look at the year back, in hindsight, it's 2020, as we know. But you look at the last 5 races, Martin was on the podium in the main race once, and that was only one in Thailand. Apart from that, Pecco has been the best rider. Well, did you? That's the case for being the best rider, but...
So what we're saying is the sprint races essentially kept this championship alive until the last race.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what points it would have been without the sprint races. Let's have a look. I'll just see if I can find it.
I mean, I'm sure it is interesting to know what the points would be like without sprint races, but just think how different the season would be as a whole if there wasn't sprint races.
Less injuries, probably.
Less injuries, more people like fighting for wins, I'd say.
Well, here we go. So the sprint championship, if it was just sprint races, thanks to Simon Patterson at the race for working that one out, Bagnaia would have finished second behind Martin. Martin would have 168, Bagnaia 140.
Right.
In the sprint races. So if you minus 168 from Pecco's 467 minus 168 gives you 299 points, which isn't that many, to be fair. And then 428 minus, well, I've just done the maths terribly wrong, haven't I? 467 minus 140.
That's
327.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pecco would have 327.
Solid.
And 428 minus 168.
Well, that's below 300, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it would be 260.
Yeah, so.
Whoa.
So Pecco would have won it by a landslide.
That was wrapped up, by like Japan or something.
Yeah. Do you want to know a mad stat, though?
Mad stat, please.
Ooh.
That 327 in 2012 would have put Pecco third in the championship.
Wild.
After 20 races this year. And it would have put him third in the 2012 with 18 rounds.
Who would have beat him? Well, obviously.
Lorenzo, then Pedrosa.
Yeah. Right.
Which is mad to think he'd have been third with 20 races. It just shows the level, though, doesn't it?
But that's the thing, though, with the whole... Like, Pecco's, made a bit of history here by winning it back-to-back. The first person to do so since Marc Marquez.
And only the first defending number one.
Yeah, and only the third person to do it in MotoGP history. So, like, he's wrote his own bit of history, but when you actually look at, like, the points and stuff like that, the season itself wasn't that impressive in the grand scheme of things, but
no, it wouldn't.
The history is being made in the fact that he retained it and he's keeping the number one plate.
Yeah, the competition was, shall we say, weak compared to like 2012, for example. In fact, all through pretty much the 2000s to, shall we say, 2019, 2020, the competition was not the same. Yeah,
because you had someone who, at least one other person who was on a similar level to you.
Consistently.
Yeah, whereas this year, like, Bez was the person on the level, similar to Pecco at the start of the season, then it was Martin in the second half of the season. They weren't able to keep it going throughout a whole season. Last year, Fabio started the season strong, but then fell off. Pecco was able to pick it up again, so,
Is that the difference between a factory Ducati and a satellite team then, do you think? Just having the more sorted team and data and everything to just be able to keep that momentum and everything running, like just the sum of its parts?
I think the difference would be is because Pecco's in a factory bike, the bike is made around Pecco and his riding style, because you're a factory rider, it's made around you. So Martin's riding the bike designed for Pecco and what Pecco wants. So Pecco can always exploit what he wants out of the bike because it's made around his and obviously Bastianini's decisions, but obviously Pecco's been there longer, so it makes more sense. Whereas Martin, like I said, is riding Pecco's bike. So there's always going to be that little ifs where Martin is a bit maybe strong on the brakes here, there, and everywhere, but it's not as good as what Pecco's doing because Pecco can then carry the speed because the bike was designed around his riding style for carrying that speed, for example. And that's probably where we would see him be a bit more competitive. I think the problem with MotoGP that we have, as we know, is because it's a Ducati Cup, all those bikes are obviously going to be around Pecco. So you can't have somebody on a Aprilia or a KTM come and beat them on the bike that they've created, like Brad Binder on his KTM that he's been on for years now, because the bike's not as good as the Ducati. It's faster than the Ducati in a straight line, but he can't fight against Pecco. Binder's bike can't fight against Pecco's bike because Binder's bike is not as good, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Which is why we see Pecco being more consistent than the other two Ducati riders in the top three, because it's built around him.
Yeah, it's more predictable.
Positions on last year's bike.
But it is a similar thing of like there wasn't another factory team this year on the level of Ducati either. So I suppose when you're saying about the satellite teams, that is part of it because there was no other full factory team anywhere near them. So of course the satellite bikes are going to look like a little step back, I think.
Yeah.
Because no one else is on that level of the full factory Ducati team. I don't see them being on that level for a while.
Until next year.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, it's funny because I put that little stat about Pecco finishing dead in 2012 into a group chat I'm in that involves our old host Jacob. And he said that this lot of riders currently wouldn't cope in the alien era bar Marc Marquez.
But Marquez was in the alien era?
Yeah, as in bar Marc Marquez.
Right, okay.
So apart from Marc Marquez, everybody else wouldn't cope in the alien era. Or they'd finish probably fourth, I would say. Fourth down, fifth down. But yeah, just to any of your thoughts.
Well, I mean, that it depends what you class as the alien era, because obviously there's kind of main four names like come to mind. And if you're sort of putting them in spots 1 to 4, albeit maybe in different orders, then yeah, probably. Like if you're thinking of like your Cal Crutchlows and all these other people that were maybe sort of top 10, but like you wouldn't class as aliens, then yeah, they probably would have also filled those same sort of spots.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because like maybe. And somebody else I know made an interesting comment that said, and this is controversial, I know, but I just thought I'd put it to the podcast and see what you two think about it. That Pecco isn't even the best Ducati rider at the moment, is what they've said.
Who did they say was?
It contradicts the fact that he's a 2-time champion. They didn't say who was, which is typical. But they basically said the Pecco wasn't the best Ducati rider right now, but his consistency is what is winning a championship, which of course theoretically would then make you the best rider because you're most consistent and you're winning the double championship. But I would say he's top 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen
pure talent alone.
Mm-hmm. We've seen he's not like whenever
he's not slow.
Yeah, he's definitely not slow. But like when, let's say, either Bez or Martin, and recently Digia, if they are on it on the same level, you know, if as Pecco is, then they are a little bit quicker. It seems, but they're not able to do it weekend in, weekend out,
and that's
part of it. That's part of being the best rider, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like in this situation this year, especially towards the end of the season when, say, Digia was getting involved, Pecco, I think, is a lot smarter than we give him credit for. It's not that I'm saying he's let Digia pass, because in Qatar, absolutely no way, you know, Digia won the race fair and square, but Pecco's going, I have no need to overtake him again. I'm not getting involved in that. Let the guy have his first win. I'll take second. I still get a points difference to Martin, who's only in 10th. You know, he'll know all that information. They let him know as soon as he was out of the race in Valencia. Like, he is so smart in that sense. So I think, I don't know, at the minute I would say he is the most all-round and has to be the best Ducati rider, because all-round, not only has he won the championship, but he's been so smart this year. Yeah, he's made mistakes, he's fluffed up, but it didn't matter when he made the mistakes. The last, 10 races, he hasn't made mistakes. He's, if he's made a slight blunder on the Saturday, he makes sure he doesn't do it again on the Sunday. He's always on the podium. He's always either first, second, or third. And that's better than what Jorge Martin was doing. Yeah, Martin's got the sprint races figured out. That's his strength. That's where he's the best Ducati rider at sprints. He's fast. I think if we'd seen him a little bit more, we could have worked out exactly what his strength was. But for him and his crew chief to work out that they just need to throw out the Ducati handbook and think of something different. That's maybe his strength, of thinking outside the box with his crew chief and making new ideas. That's Digi's strength. That's something that the rest of the Ducati riders don't have. So I think it would be a bit weird to sit and compare them all, because I as much as Pecco probably is the best on paper, they all bring something to the table. That's why they have so many bikes, and it was why they make them so such a good team as a whole.
Some of the parts, all rounder, like you say, that's the key word in your analysis.
Yeah, it's interesting because with Pecco, obviously on paper, best Ducati rider because he's top of the championship and stuff. I wouldn't say anyone's maybe better than him, but I do think there are riders who are very good in their own way. In some ways, might be better than Pecco, but in other ways, might not be better than Pecco. But then it's the whole package, isn't it?
Yep. I am sure that there's a lot of people who thought that Jorge Martin was the best Ducati rider, but you just had to look at the mistakes he made in the Valencian Grand Prix to see that that's where his weakness was. In those moments, there's a rush of blood to the head, and that's his weakness,
Yeah. And there is no perfect rider.
No.
You've got Valentino Rossi, who obviously is one of the greatest of all time, but then he still crashed. He still made mistakes, stupid mistakes that cost him championships. So it was gamble tyres, tyre gambles. 2006, he just won 5 on the bounce and crashed at Valencia.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, but I'd say the way Pecco's riding at the moment, it's pretty damn close to perfection at the moment. Barring the old crash and stuff, he is. 2019 Marquez probably peaks it. Yeah. And I think that's probably the most, in the modern era, perfect season we've ever seen. That crash at Cota wasn't even his fault. And then, obviously he scored 420 points. If he had, won that race, he'd have scored, something stupid like 445 points of the 475 on the table.
Wild.
I mean, there's only 30 he missed it. It was 6 fifth places. Obviously, he didn't, and he still got 420, which is unheard of. And the fact that would have only been beaten by Pecco this year at the 445 is nuts. But still, Marquez still crashes. No rider's perfect, but like I said, Pecco's season this year was, apart from that DNF, 16th place in Argentina was pretty damn close to perfection.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost as if a little bit of raw speed that Martin has is just dialed back slightly, just to have a bit more consistency and enough to still win races, obviously.
Yeah.
But finish them as well.
And it's his racecraft.
Yeah.
The way he thinks. He's always done it since Moto3. He's so meticulous in the way he thinks about these things in the races. I don't think he gets enough credit. Obviously, he's a 3-time world champion, but I don't think he gets enough credit for actually how good he is at studying his rivals and now analysing the race, as Lauren mentioned earlier, and generally just picking apart his opponents and going, is this a good move? I don't know. I'm going to just chill. Whereas, you look at Marc Marquez, the amount of times he's chucked it up the road just because he's like, well, I don't want to finish second, so... and Martin making the dumb error in India and crashing Indonesia, and he was 5 seconds up the road and he stacks it, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think people will let that happen again next season. I think Pecco's put his
stamp,
cards on the table now. People will be able to understand that a lot better. It will be difficult for people to try and replicate that, but when you've got more people on better form. I'm hoping that we get the first few sprint races and races out of the way without massive injury. I think that'll help because, I mean, we started this season with how many riders injured?
Well,
that's what I meant to
we
say.
didn't have.
Yeah, we didn't have
we didn't have a single race.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole season. 44 races, not a single grid that was full of full-time riders.
So, yeah, I think people will maybe make less bold moves, back them, think about it a little bit more, go, okay, well, Pecco thinks about this. Because when you think about Pecco, there's very rare occasions I can think of where he's made a mistake. Qatar, where he took out Jorge Martin's, literally the only thing that comes to mind where he's made a mistake that's ruined another rider's race. Just off the top of my head, but...
It used to be that he would sort of crack under a bit of pressure. And he even got that feeling at the start of the season with that Kota and stuff. You're like, that's it, he's being chased, and he bins it. But he seems to have fixed that Achilles heel now, and he doesn't have this sort of one obvious tactic that you can use against him to just like pile pressure on. It doesn't matter anymore. You've got to pass him now. And hope he doesn't pass you back. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with next year. My only thought is, I feel like, obviously the GP23 was pretty much bang on from round one, which Ducati maybe doesn't have a history of doing. They're good at sorting it out halfway through the season and becoming unstoppable. My thought is, what are the odds of them being able to do that again? I don't know. I feel like the riders on the GP23 are going to have enough of an advantage where it's going to take too long.
For the first few rounds.
Yeah. I don't think
they'll definitely have the advantage.
I just cannot picture the GP24 being a significant step again. Like, there was an obvious gap between 23 and 22 this year, but I just can't see it happening again. But if anyone's going to prove me wrong, it'll be Ducati, obviously.
It'll be Marc Marquez.
Well, but then
he will be the
23.
benchmark.
Yeah,
he's on the 23.
He's on the 23.
And if they can, exactly, like if he will be, obviously Marquez is a bit more, shall we say, he's an alien, but he will be the benchmark. He's on a 23.
Yeah.
Can Pecco, who's ridden that bike all last year and knows everything about that bike, exploit Marquez? I'll have to see. But we'll talk about Marquez later on. But yeah, so interesting one as well. The RNF are out.
In, out.
Shake it all about. And their new owner could be what's it called? I was going to say Trackmania, but that's a game. That's it. Trackhouse Racing. They are a NASCAR team who have done very well, may I add. Obviously, if people don't know too much about them, they pretty much joined the team and got an underdog winning NASCAR races. Normally in NASCAR, like the top 4 guys win, and that's about it. Trackhouse have come in and just flipped it on its head.
Nice.
Which is very impressive. And yeah, the owners are Justin Marks, who I've never heard of before, but here we go. He's an American racing driver, entrepreneur, and owner of Trackhouse Racing. So he used to actually race cars for himself.
That's a good start.
A gentleman called Armando Christian Perez.
Oh, who's that? Does he have an AKA?
Otherwise, he does have an AKA. And he also says quite a lot that he hopes everyone's having a good time, because his name is Pitbull. I was trying to think of one of his songs.
Oh, no, you should have been like, he's probably given the driver some advice. What's that? Everybody's been through tough times, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, done that.
That's it, yeah. Been there, done that.
Every day above
Marcus
ground
crashes out.
is a great day, remember that?
This is going right over my head. I'm far too old.
What?
It's one of his lyrics.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, I saw it off topic, that thing where he's like, everybody have a tough time, been there, done that. I saw somebody and they're like giving birth, and someone was playing that over, and it's like, don't think you've done that yet, Pitbull.
It's Pitbull. You never know.
It is Pitbull.
You
don't know. He's an enigma, is Pitbull. But yeah, Pitbull as a MotoGP team owner.
Yes.
Why not?
He's got
1,000 times. Yes.
I'm all the way for it. Net worth. That's what his net worth is. His net worth is 100 million dollars.
Well, so what? He can run a GP bike for 6 months?
He Yeah, but 6 months. So RNF owe Dorna about $8 million euros apparently.
Oh dear.
And they would have been able to pay for it, but Crypto Data decided to pull out. Because they're a dodgy crypto sponsor. What? Who knew that? Crypto sponsors being dodgy?
Is it not also are they not a Russian-based one as well? Not that obviously.
Romanian, I think.
Is
they
it
are.
Romanian? I'm sure I heard they were Russian.
Crypto Data. Let's have a look. Crypto Data are.
When you think about it, though, did Razlan get out early, or is it his is it his fault that they went south?
He got sacked.
Oh, I thought he left on his own terms.
he got pushed out, shall we say. He may have jumped before he was pushed, but he was being pushed towards the edge, shall we say. Yes. And the Crypto Data people are taking Dorna to court.
Yes.
Because Crypto Data owe them money. What?
Because they have a contract until 2026.
Oh, gosh.
And Dorna have gone, nope, you're not on the grid next year. And they're like, well, we signed a contract till 2026. So they're going to take Dorna to court. Dorna will probably win hands down every week because Dorna's lawyers will be far better than Crypto Data's, I would assume. So we could see Pitbull coming in and managing a team. And from what I've read, obviously all these like rumours and stuff like that, they will be supplying them with current spec 2024 Aprilias.
Oh, interesting.
So they get current machinery because one of the reasons why Raul and Miguel have kind of struggled this year is because they've not been able to get any upgrades because they've not had any money to purchase these upgrades for their bikes. They've pretty much been run similar, if not the same bikes all year long. God. And the fact that Raul has done very well.
Yeah.
Well, Raul's been doing a lot of it on his own because Miguel's been out injured quite a few times.
Yeah, he has. And he very much impressed in the end of season test, Raul Fernandez. And he got 5th place at Valencia as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's looking good.
Yeah, it is looking very good. But yeah, so just a bit of musical chairs again in MotoGP, really.
Well, let's get Pitbull in. Make life better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sick. It'd bring a lot of people to the sport, I think.
I bet the bike would be stunning as well. Don't know why. I just feel like it would be.
It'd just have a mural of his face on the side, which would be beautiful.
He could perform at the end of season party. Like, we'll just have a big Pitbull concert.
Yeah. Well, didn't they have a performance at the FIM Awards at the end of the year?
Well, I don't know. FIM Awards are next week, I think. But the MotoGP one.
It's in Liverpool. It's in my end. But yeah, the gala, there was a lady performing, is that right?
Yeah.
And apparently it was terrible.
I'm not going to say it was
like
terrible.
issues.
Yeah, there was technical issues. Had to restart the song, so she had to do it.
Yeah, it sounds about right for MotoGP related things. Yeah. But yeah, to have Pitbull on stage at Silverstone.
Oh my god! Every week he'll do the national anthem.
Yeah,
oh my god!
Each round.
Well, he is Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. Oh my god! Yeah. See. Sorted.
This is written. This was written.
It's written in the stars.
Someone write this down and someone put our names on this so we can get some money in our pockets.
Yeah, that is so funny. But yeah, he could do the national anthem and then just him performing at the gala at the end of the year would be so
and the
sick.
trophies out and all. Oh my god, it'd be amazing.
That'd be so cool. Thing is, like, it would bring people to the sport though. We need something like that. Ryan Reynolds invested in Alpine recently. MotoGP doesn't really have any celebrities. We had Paris Hilton, obviously, with Maverick Vinales. She had her team years ago with Vinales. That's about it from the last high-profile team owner, I would think. There was a Jordan effort from, obviously, the basketball player, and they had a few AMA bikes and things like that. But again, it kind of just fizzled out a little bit. But I think MotoGP is now in a good place to have someone like Pitbull come in and manage a team, or not manage, but own a team. So... could be quite fun.
Yeah, that's exciting. What else has been happening, Deck?
Digia finally got a seat.
Yay!
A VR46 at last.
Everyone liked that.
Yes, we did. I'm very, 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 very happy for him.
Right
choice. He deserves a seat.
Yeah.
As we know, very much the right choice. I'm glad they made the right choice because it could have gone Furman and I was like, No.
Do you think Vietti was on the cards? Because at the start of the weekend, they sort of went, Firmine's not on the cards, so it's between Digia and a very young rider.
But
they didn't classify who. Like, no one said anything.
The thing is, they were like a very young rider. It's like, who else is younger than Firmin? No one.
Who else was very young?
Oh, Valentino's daughter, Betcha. Did you see that video of her riding around on that bike?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Could have been her.
Speedy girl, is she?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I don't know who they could have chosen. Moto3 rider, maybe.
Nah.
No.
My only thought was Vietti.
But Vietti's not really been there, and he had the IO contract as well.
It was like literally, who else could it have been?
It was just a curveball, wasn't it?
Do you think?
That's all it was. It was all just a curveball to deflect it away from Digia a little bit.
Why'd they all wait so long though? Like, HRC didn't.
They were waiting for Honda.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were waiting for Honda to announce, and then once Honda announced, then they could announce Digia.
But Marini had already said he was leaving, so.
Yeah, but MotoGP teams think we're stupid.
Was Marini not sort of playing hardball a bit though, like with getting a 2-year deal and everything?
So he was trying to get a 3-year deal because his 2-year deal now puts him out of sync a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think he was trying to get a 3-year deal, or Honda were trying to get him on a 3-year deal, one of the two, and one of the parties didn't want to agree to 3 years but do a 2+1 contract instead to put him into sync, basically. And so there's a bit of issues around that, but he's on a 2-year deal at the moment officially, so we'll have to see around that.
Initial signs were good though.
Yeah, very impressive. We'll go to testing in a bit. Shall we whiz through the races properly now, and then we'll do testing?
Okay.
I'm quite excited to talk about testing.
Yeah.
So in Moto3, I'm so happy to see Sasaki get his vengeance, finally winning a race.
Finally.
Like, we've been saying all year long he can be a champion without winning a race.
And he won a race and isn't a champion, so who's the real loser? Us.
Us, yeah, as always.
Yeah.
Skogden. I like that he calls him Skogden as well.
Skogden.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Prustel left. That was like a rumour circling Friday that got officially announced. And Artigas has been put on a 3-year contract with Forward Racing. So is S. Krieg.
Why?
3?
I don't know. 3 years.
Well, that's just their career then, isn't it?
On a crap Moto2
Gotta make it through the 3 years first.
Yeah.
Doubt it.
Interesting.
Backmarker Moto2 machine. Weird. But yeah, so Prustel leaving. Ricky Rossi. So I was reading Danny Buchan's tweet about Marquez. Sorry.
Oh, what's Danny Buchan saying?
I don't know. I'm not going to comment on Danny Buchan. Anyway, and yeah, Ricardo Rossi doesn't have a seat either, which is a shame. I guarantee he'll do that thing that Fernandez did a few years ago, where he just Adrian Fernandez bought someone's seat, because Ricky Rossi is not short on cash, so he'll probably be able to buy himself in, maybe.
Well, you never know. I wouldn't. The provisional list always ends up being changed anyway. I feel like in Moto3 and Moto2, so it'll end up. Yeah, they'll probably just come in on the first race of the season and be like, "Oh, right, okay, he's got a seat somewhere."
Yeah, he's got a seat, and then what he'll do though, he'll take a decent Moto3 bike rider off of their seat. This rider will then go to the CV or Junior GP again, Moto2, smash everyone, and then come in and do really well in Moto2 like Alonso Lopez did, and the whole cycle repeat itself.
It's like a calendar.
It's a canon event that can't be changed.
Exactly.
That's much deeper than what I said. Like
it is. Yeah, I do.
Much more intelligent than me.
Big,
but yeah,
big
then there's
moves.
a big crash in Moto2.
God, yeah, that was nasty.
That was gnarly, wasn't it?
Garcia, right?
Like,
I'm glad he's okay.
Garcia, like...
I had to put my lunch down. I was just sitting munching away, and I was like, actually, I can't be eating this anymore. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then he just got up and walked away.
Just straight up run over. What is with people getting run over and being fined this year?
It is weird, isn't it? Maybe it's the airbag provides maybe a bit more cushion, potentially.
I mean, that's what airbags typically do.
Yeah, but I mean in like terms like, because obviously I don't know how hard these airbags are, but maybe they're like hard enough and solid enough that it can, if you're getting run over by a bike, it doesn't, it kind of protects you. I'm not sure.
Where was he actually hit?
Like in his waist, I think.
Like I thought like pelvis, like hip, lower back. I thought that
Crushes
had to
nuts.
all be
Yeah.
right. Well, I wasn't saying that. I thought that was surely broken, but
Yeah. You got lucky, to be fair. Very lucky. And then he went and tested the Bosco Scura the next day.
Oh, how did he do?
He did pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah.
There were some times available. I don't know where they are, to be honest.
That's okay.
But I know that because they're on the Pirellis, and in Moto2 and Moto3, they both set new lap records. Like, I think Holgado broke it by more than a second.
yeah.
That's a
Which
good
is
start.
ridiculous. And then Lopez knocked it at least 3 tenths off, which is wild in itself again.
Very impressive.
So, yeah, it's really, I like these Pirellis. It's just a shame Rory Skinner doesn't get a chance on them.
But here we are.
Big shame. Yeah, we go. I think they might have the times here. No, they don't. Thanks, Dorna.
What's Rory Skinner doing next year?
No idea.
Hanging out.
Honestly, no idea.
Mountain biking.
BBM, Ducati, BSB.
Oh, that's a shout, to be fair.
Oh.
That is a
Did you
shout.
guys not see Glenn Irwin's comment on his Instagram?
No.
He's like, you'd be a great
Well, there was
you'd be a great teammate or something like that. Or I'd love you
that
as
was a
my
good shout.
teammate. So I think it was just a
Yeah.
bit of jokes, like, but I mean, it's an open seat on a really good
It is.
team.
Yeah, it is. That's a
So,
great
You
shout.
never know.
So in Moto2, also, Arbolino and Acosta were absolutely nowhere to be seen. Seems like Acosta's won the title and gone, right, see you later.
Yeah, his
Done now.
mind was elsewhere, wasn't it?
Honestly,
Bigger
I
fish
think
to
he's just
fry.
thinking about testing that bike. Sorry?
He's got bigger fish to fry.
He does indeed. Like, yeah, I just think he's just kind of, I
Yeah.
just want to ride this bike now. He just wants to make sure he's kind of safe
Yeah. I'd
to
do the
ride the
same.
MotoGP bike. And he's done very well.
But on a MotoGP bike?
Yeah, he's done pretty damn well on the MotoGP bike, I would say.
I think very well. He looks very comfortable, shall
Did
we
you see
say.
that? All right, I'm going to talk about testing a little bit. Did you see that flipping slide that he
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
That was unreal.
Yeah.
Like, he's a rookie. And then he was swapping places with Vinales on track.
He's
And you're
rather
like,
special.
bro.
He's rather
He's a
special.
racer. I don't think he cares what situation it's in,
does not
whether
give a
it's
shit,
free
does he?
practice one, testing, or the race. He will overtake you if he feels it necessary.
Yeah. And I just love the amount of people who are saying, oh, he's overrated, he's this, that, and the other. And I'm like, dude, he's won 2 World Championships in 3 seasons and joined the MotoGP class in 3 seasons as well, which is very impressive.
Rare these days.
And people are still like going, oh, he's this, he's that. And I'm like,
People are the same about Marc Marquez. People are going, oh, he's going to step on that Ducati and still be shit. And it's like,
yeah.
why would you think that? Like, he's showed no reason for you to think that way. People just don't like to see success, I don't think.
Yeah, they're just haters, aren't they?
But they also...
Or they like
It's-
to go against the grain.
That's what I was
They're
about to
going,
say.
oh, no,
Yeah.
like...
They like to be a contrarian on the off chance that they get proven right, and then they're like, see, I told you. You're
Told
like,
you,
Shut
yeah.
up.
Yeah, told you so.
Yeah.
It's strange. But yeah, then obviously in MotoGP, of course, Vinales got dropped 3 places to give Pecco the pole position. Martin did what he did. There was a lot of crashes. I'm gutted to see Miller stack it.
Ah. Could have
He
been
could
great.
have been the first rider to win 3 races and 3 flipping things.
After
and
such...
No, it'll be Alex
season.
Rins.
It will.
I think it will be Alex Rins at Kota.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Actually, no. Marquez versus Rins at Kota. One's in the Yamaha, one's in the Ducati.
Come on.
I'm putting Marquez to win that one.
That's why I scoffed. Come on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It sounds like a fever dream. Like, there's no way it's going to be real.
It's gonna be.
But it will be.
When is Kota next
It will
year?
be.
April?
Like April.
On my birthday.
Yeah.
It's normally around my birthday. Let's have a look. And obviously, I'm going to
Birthday?
assume you know when my birthday is, because, you know, why wouldn't you? Let's have a look. Calendar, MotoGP.
I
Let's
didn't know
have
there
a
was
look.
an F in birthday.
Birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
A
God.
birthday.
Getting into ad hominem attacks
Birthday.
here. Jeez, oh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, MotoGP calendar. Why is Catalonia? Oh, I'm reading it wrong. Idiot. Don't worry.
You know how dates
American
work?
GP. No, I was clear. It's 12th to the 14th of April.
That's fun.
As of recording, by the way, we're 99 days away from the first free practice session.
Don't even. I seen your
Already.
story earlier,
So what?
and I was like,
Yeah, we've got the countdowns. We've got the countdowns already.
Yeah, countdown started already.
Ah, love it. Love
sick
it.
of it.
Unreal. You're sick of it. Why?
Did you do it? You didn't do it last year.
Yeah, I've done it every year for like 9 years now.
Do you just rinse and repeat? You just copy and paste?
Pretty much, because I'm like, I've got to make 3 posts a day. If one of them can be a really easy one of the countdown, then...
I can't believe Neil Hodgson misses out with 100.
Yeah, that's rude.
I used to use him, but people got triggered, so I just...
Why?
Can't be honest.
What's with people? Oh,
People can't have nice things.
He's not a MotoGP rider. I'm like,
Ah,
fine.
come on. Home hero, though. But anyway.
Yeah. But hey ho. But yeah, I was gutted for what's his face? Miller.
Yep.
Because it could have been very impressive.
Do you know why the Viva Miller was hacked on Twitter? Bet you that
Was he
That's
actually?
it.
I don't know. I read something on Instagram. Nearly sure he had it on his stories or something.
Yeah,
I
didn't
saw
it get
that.
deleted or something like that? Yeah.
Oh, I hope not. But
Yeah, big sad. And yeah, Pecco won the race and the championship in great fashion. Jaime Messica probably takes notes out of his book on how to win a race and championship at the same time.
Oh!
But
Oh!
yeah, I just
He
thought
did
I'd
it.
ping
Jeez.
that figure in there.
quite out of
That's
pocket,
me.
to be honest.
It
Wow.
was. Hey ho.
See whose side you're on.
Well, we've already discussed this in the last podcast. I'm central, so it's fine.
Away.
Oh, I didn't realise. Alpine just made a tweet, and all 4 of the champions, so Masia, Acosta, Bagnaia, and Cassidy were all in Alpine Stars. That's interesting for the nerds out there.
Well, if you want to win a championship,
It's funny you say that, because the amount of riders who say that if you wear Alpine Star suits, you get in about, obviously it's a joke, like 0.2 seconds a lap. It's obviously a joke, but people say that quite a lot. And Kelso switched to Alpine Stars and got a podium. So
well, wasn't Rossi Dainese,
Well, then-
though?
Rossi, Valentino was, yeah.
Obviously,
And
though,
then,
I mean.
and then he got beat by Hayden and Stoner, who were Alpine Stars.
Oh, well, that's it.
Yeah, that's it indeed. But yeah, that was just a random one. So now we talk about testing.
Oh, as if we
Have we
haven't
done?
talked about it.
Okay,
So-
testing. You say testing. We all know what you actually want to talk about, really, about testing.
Pedro Acosta, Marc Marquez.
Actually, I wanted to talk about Luca Marini and how absolutely
such a
sensational
liar.
he was.
You're such a liar.
To be fair, though, Luca Marini,
Very impressive.
10th place.
Meanwhile,
Like, I know
Zarco
it's
bins it.
testing and it's... Well, there's an interesting comment to follow that little Luca Marini 10th place, because Mir and Marini are very impressed by the Honda. They quite like it. Mir thinks there's a big step up. Emilio Perez de Rosas has said that Honda makes a motorcycle in 2 months that's 8 kilograms lighter, but is late to retain Marc Marquez because it took them quite a while to work it out. Marc Marquez spent 8 years asking Honda to make a lower and lighter motorcycle, but they ignored him. Now that Marc has left, they've built that motorcycle that Marc has been asking for.
Well, sometimes that's what it takes.
Interestingly, I do think Honda will now resurge to the top without Marquez there. I think Marquez was hindering Honda.
Do you not think it's a big ploy to get him back, though?
That's the other
Well,
side.
there was that crap about him leaving and coming back in 2025, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think that's what they want to do. I think they want to have that comeback story where they make a great bike. Luca and Mir will have, I'd say 2 very good seasons. Or maybe they'll get rid of Mir after next year or something like that and then bring Marc Marquez back in. A lot of people were saying the whole goodbye things didn't really feel like a goodbye. It felt more like a see you later. So
Yeah.
maybe they all know this. Maybe they're sort of in cahoots with each other. You go to Ducati, get your year there, win races, maybe fight for the championship. We're going to make a good bike and you can come back.
It's possible.
I think
Definitely
he'll
plausible.
maybe come back as a test rider, but with a promise of a good chunk of wild cards, similar to Paul. But I can't see the Repsol Honda team being like, do you know what? Yeah, let's have a 33-year-old rider back or whatever.
I think it depends how the year with Ducati goes.
But then who's to say that, if Marquez does really, really well this year, potentially even wins the title, who's to say that a Lenovo Ducati team wouldn't have him?
Gigi Dall'Igna.
The thing with Lenovo, Ducati, and Marquez is that they're sponsored by Monster Energy. And I can't see Marquez breaking his
that's true.
deal with Red Bull after, since 2008, really.
What about Pramac?
Yeah, I could see Pramac if he gets him a factory bike and can continue Red Bull. Thing is, Marquez could jump on the Pramac. Would Pramac want him? They've apparently offered Furman a seat for 25. There's also that rumour that Marquez will go to KTM in 25.
That would be spicy.
And he's like that meme where it's like, everyone's like, they can be the first rider to win 3 manufacturers ever in the modern era, and no one's doing it. Marquez is like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Could be done.
It could. I just love the goalposts that are being moved with Marquez, because before it was always, he's crap because he'll never win on 2 manufacturers. He'll never leave Honda. He'll never do it. Now he's left Honda. It's not, you'll never leave the manufacturer. Now it's, you've gone to the best bike now, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Goalposts are being moved.
It's true. But, I mean, I think
it's funny.
He's going to continue to prove people wrong for as long as he can.
Find new reasons to dislike the man, which is fair enough. Haters are going to hate,
But people
hate, potatoes going to potate.
Well, yeah, people have that with every rider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the fact that, what was it, this 3rd lap that he was 7th or something like that, or 7th lap that he was 3rd?
7th lap he was 3rd.
And I think his first flying lap, he was only 2 seconds off the pace?
Oh, pass. I don't know. You could tell, though. You could just tell he was comfortable. Like, as soon as he was going around, you're like, wow, he's making it look way easier than he's ridden the Honda the whole year. And I'm sure after those 7 laps, he said he was already going, he was circulating, 0.1 of a second quicker than he did in the sprint race or something?
His race pace. Yeah.
What?
But it was just when he got into the garage and took his helmet off.
Yeah, a little smile.
And then he just grinned.
Yep. Do you not wish you could see Frankie Carcetti's face on the other side?
We
only got to see Mark's face. So.
Well, because you just saw him kind of do that thing. When you're trying to hide a smile and he's like, yeah. And then he probably turned around to Frankie grinning his face off, and he was like, he just failed. He broke, and he was like, yeah. But there is on Twitter, obviously we don't get any of the feedback from Mark yet, but there is a video on Twitter that you can hear what Marcus is saying perfectly in the garage. I don't know how they managed to get a microphone in there, but it's from
the same way they got the camera in there when Jorge Martin.
True.
They pulled the shutter down and then they had the on-bike camera on, and then the engineers were like, wait, how can they see us right now?
Yeah. Well, Sky Italia managed to get a microphone in there and film Marquez, and you can hear him saying about
they've paid someone to put a microphone on them.
Probably. And he's like comparing the bike to the Honda, and I can't remember it all because it's 4 minutes long, but some of the stuff he says that when he brakes, if he brakes too hard, the rear will lift up. And then maybe start to snake and stuff like that. But he feels that there's a lot more grip than the Honda. It feels a lot more stable. And I think I didn't really watch testing too much because I was busy working, boring. But apparently when he was following Rins around on track and Mir, it just looked like it was effortless for Mark, and he could have overtaken them very easily without struggling too much. Whereas with the Honda, obviously, he had to override it to ride anywhere near that. I remember when Alex switched from the Honda to the Ducati, Alex said that he had to put no more work in and would still be 2 seconds a lap faster.
It's ridiculous. It really is. There shouldn't be this kind of discrepancy in the performance of the bikes, but
here
we are.
That is it's the European bikes again. Are destroying the Japanese bikes because the Japanese manufacturers are kind of refusing to budge. Really, Fabio is consistently upset at Yamaha, and I think even at the test this week he was a bit upset at Yamaha.
Yeah,
and so it's just like.
Well, I mean, but it's not just Fabio. It's Vinales, it's Lorenzo, it's Rossi. Everyone's been like, here's where we're starting to really fall behind the European bikes. But they rested on their laurels. They're like, no, this is how you build a bike. But then, like pretty much GG has come in and changed the game,
It's flipped it on his head, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think if Honda make the improvements that they're likely to make, that Yamaha will respond if another Japanese manufacturer makes a step in the right direction?
Suzuki made the step.
They did.
But not consistently enough, I don't think.
No. I think if Honda can make the step, it will prove to the Yamaha that it can be done. We've got these concessions next year, which will help. So, for Ducati next year, because they scored 85% of the points that are on offer, 85% or more, they can only test on 3 circuits. They get no wild cards. Yeah, only 7 or 8 engines per season. They have to freeze their engine spec. They get 1 aero update, and their private testing only can be a test rider.
They get no wild cards.
That's what the MotoGP thing says.
Gosh.
0 wild cards from the Dawn, I think. Yeah, 0 wild cards.
Kind of sad.
But it can change, can't it? Like halfway through the season?
I believe so, if you've scored more than a threshold of these points, yeah. So it says wildcards are not subject to an engine specification freeze. A maximum of 3 wildcards before the summer test ban and a maximum of 3 wildcards after the summer test ban are permitted. But that's if you can have 6 wildcards. And then if you score more than 60% of the points but less than 85%, which is 0 manufacturers, none have done that, you get 190 test tyres. Private testing remains at 3 circuits, test rider only. You get 3 wildcards and you get the same amount of engines, 7 or 8. They're frozen and you get 1 aero update. KTM and Aprilia, who've scored more than 35% but less than 60% of the points, get 220 test tyres, again, test rider only, 3 circuits, but they get 6 wildcards, but again, 7 or 8 engines, they're frozen, and their update of 1. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Less than 35% of the points scored, Yamaha and Honda. They get a massive 260 tyres to test. They get free private testing at any rider can test. So normally it's test rider only. Any of their riders can test at any of the GP circuits. They get 6 wildcards, 9 or 10 engines per season. The engine spec is free. I mean, they don't have to freeze them at the start of the year. They can continue to update their engines throughout the year, and they get 2 aero updates.
So it's more like it.
And that's what all the manufacturers have agreed on. That is what... Because if one of them, say Ducati, was like, I don't agree with that, they would have to scrap the whole thing. So every manufacturer has agreed to that.
But again, I feel like in that situation, Ducati have probably gone, yeah, let's give them a chance, and we'll still come out on top, sort of thing.
That's the
that's what
Ducati
they're
way.
hoping. Yeah.
I think Ducati, if anything, looking at a challenge going, yeah, we'll give you an advantage, but we'll still beat you.
Yeah.
They've won everything this year, apart from Moto America. They won BSB Supersport, BSB, the actual championship, the Superbike championship. Yeah. They won the World Superbike. They won World Supersport. They won Moto E. Well, that was a single manufacturer, and then MotoGP as well. Like their name is everywhere.
I think a couple of years ago, Yamaha won World Superbikes.
Yeah.
Yamaha won MotoGP.
That's why it's important not to get complacent.
Yeah.
That's what
people are very quick.
Say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to a thing during the test, and they were talking to someone at Ducati, basically just being like, chatting about this agreement to these sort of new rules and concessions, and they said obviously we want to be the best, but it means more to be the best when it's a more even playing field, essentially. Like when the competition's better, if you're still better than them, then it's like it's more rewarding, essentially, which I get. Yeah, so I think that kind of sums up their attitude. Like you said, they were like, yeah, you can have a chance, but we're still going to beat you, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's just Ducati knowing what they've got. You know, they got Lamborghini and Audi backing. They got their engineers working in there and using their aero tunnels. And things like that. Ducati have every resource available to them. Yes, KTM have Red Bull Racing. They can use their things as well. And KTM have one hell of a budget thanks to Red Bull.
Mm-hmm. And it shows.
But they're still not beating Ducati.
Yeah.
I think it's the riders, though, at KTM.
Should be. Binder is an outstanding rider. I think put Binder on Ducati and it's over for everyone. It's over. But Ducati, no, KTM are a bit strange. It seems like their Tech 3 teams have always just kind of, recently anyway, sat at the wayside. I think Acosta will be the man to maybe see, to really judge and gauge a difference now that we've got a rider of his pedigree, shall we say.
But yeah, and then you get, if Pedro does come in and start outperforming, then you've got Augusto Fernandez, who's going to give himself a shake and go, right, well, I obviously need to make a massive step here. And then you've got Jack Miller, who's going to go, God, I'm going to lose my seat. I'm going to have to make a massive step here. So hopefully you would see all of them improve their performance.
Yeah, it's a kick up the butt a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Aprilia are looking really good. Obviously, they led the test. Obviously, testing means not much anyway. You're not going for fast times, but it's a nice little indicator of where everybody is when you can compare it to the lap times of the race weekend just gone. And the fact that Marquez was 0.3, maybe 0.4 off the lap record is very impressive. Vinales was like 0.2 off the lap record. Ralph Fernandez was half a second from the lap record. So it is good showing from the lot of them. And I think Aprilia will make a big step this winter, as they have done the last few years. I believe the new RNF squad will have more factory involvement. Ralph Fernandez tested at Valencia with a factory squad. Massimiliano Rivola was in there. You had Aprilia techs in there. All the RNF guys got sent home and girls got sent home. Didn't do anything. It was all Aprilia techs.
Wow.
So there is a bit more factory involvement in there, and I think
that's probably
good
what
for
they
Aprilia.
want, though. They probably want more of a factory involvement, because I feel like,
well, look how good Pramac does, and how that helps Ducati in general.
Yeah. Although seeing Maverick topping the timesheets doesn't really surprise me.
Testing
so
champion.
I'm not going to read too much into that.
No.
Maverick things. I think the teams are starting to realise just exactly how much they need to throw at this to come close to Ducati. You know, it was like, it's all well and good that like, oh, the bike's made a great step this year, but it's like, but you got to have more. And it's that 80-20 rule, isn't it? The 80% of the results come from 20% of the work, but that last 20% is 80% of the work. And even further, this final 1% that these squads need, I don't know why I call them squads, but there we are, that they need to fight Ducati is like 99% of the effort. They've set down a hell of a gauntlet, Ducati, but I think things are going to get spicy in the next couple of years. And then obviously 2027, looking ahead with these rule changes, God knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think 2025 will be the big shake-up, because I think a lot of people will move. I think there'll be a big shake-up in terms of, like, I'd say Fabio will be out of Yamaha,
Fabio
that
to
sort of
Aprilia
thing.
for sure.
Yeah.
Massively. I think the whole, like, those 4 riders that ride with Aprilia, I actually don't think we'll see any of them on Aprilias in 2025, so...
You think?
I'd back it up, to be honest.
I'd put money on it.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph Fernandez, yes. I'd say Ralph Fernandez.
He's the
unless
only
the
one I
Ducati
can
comes
see.
up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Surely Raul's just kind of in line for a factory seat with a
Because
2-year
Not
really
contract.
Not necessarily. Because you look at the likes of KTM and stuff like that, unless they start making moves for Pedro Acosta. Like, if Pedro doesn't get the factory seat, he's going to look elsewhere.
And Arbolino would be more than happy to ride for an Italian manufacturer, for example, as well. That means that he doesn't have to lose his Red Bull sponsorship as well, because if he went to Ducati, there's always that
Jorge
chance that he
Martin,
could.
go to a factory squad. He's already said, if I haven't proven that I deserve to be in red, I'll never ride in red. So
well, additionally to that, the whole thing about Martin going to factory Ducati, as you'd expect, really annoyed Enea Bastianini. And basically, I heard a whisper that if they had swapped him round, he would have spoke to Aprilia and KTM for 2025.
see,
Yeah.
So there's always, I mean, Enea could not perform this year or
Oh,
next
could
year, and then get Ducati go, right, see you later, mate.
they could
And
do
then
that. Actually,
bang,
yeah.
Aprilia, because Ducati are brutal. It doesn't matter that he's finished third last year, won a race this year. Ducati will sack him off if they think Martin's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd make a good point. I think it will be very interesting. Franco Morbidelli did okay in the testing. His confidence is destroyed. Like, people are like, oh, he's only 16th. He was within 0.5 of Jorge Martin. But additionally, like you said, his confidence is destroyed from that Yamaha. He spent 2.5 seasons on that shitbox of a factory bike.
Languishing. Yep.
Yeah, it's like struggling. So of course he's going to be like, oh God. And he hops on the best bike. There's pressure then because it's like, this is the bike to be on.
You need to walk before you can run.
Yeah.
If you get to the end of next season and he hasn't made a step, you're sort of going, there's maybe something we need to look into here. He's only on a 1-year deal as far as I'm aware anyway.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't perform, he'll be out. They'll not keep him unless he is worthy of it, sort of thing, unless he's like Zarco and maybe makes a big step in testing, or he needs to bring something to the table, basically. And if he doesn't make that step, they'll not hesitate to let him go.
Yeah, 'cause especially with Furman on the go.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tough one for him. Especially with like I said, the talent that's coming up in Moto2 at the moment.
Stacked.
Nakagami is
Scary.
still... The fact that Honda have remained Ayagura sponsor and are backing Ayagura still means Nakagami's not safe.
Yamaha are back in Suzuki now.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is an interesting one. Obviously, Alex Rins looked decent on that Yamaha. Obviously, he's still injured, really, to be honest.
His
So,
riding
he
style
looks-
has changed so much since the Suzuki. It's wild.
It's sad because his riding style was amazing on that Suzuki. I love to watch him ride. And
Hopefully he gets a bit of that
sad.
back.
No, I'd
Yeah, I
say that'll
think
be a
so.
good, strong team next year.
I do as well, because Frankie's great and all that, but Rins just has that. Again, Rins is like everything. You know, when you look at the superbikes, for example, and you go Ducati top speed, that's where it excels in. Kawasaki good at turning, that's where it excels in. Yamaha, it's got a decent top speed, it turns really well, it's user friendly, and that's what I kind of look at Rins being. Rins has got all those good qualities. He's like the full package. He's not excellent at things. Like, he's not the best in the world at braking. He's not the best in the world at accelerating out of a corner. He's not the best in the world at cornering, but he's exceptionally good at everything there, enough that he can bring a lot to Yamaha, whereas Fabio might be just best on the brakes and then not be as good anywhere else. There's a weird analogy, I know, but...
I get you. Like, Rins can put it all together to make like a really fast lap time, essentially.
Yeah, he's got everything there really good, and the fact that he's on a Yamaha, which apart from the acceleration is very good all round, helps as well.
Yeah, I think having that Suzuki knowledge too.
The inline 4 knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to provide big. And I think if they can get someone on the Yamaha who is that all-rounded rider, you will see the likes of Fabio getting better as well. I think having a teammate that knows what they're doing will help both riders immensely. You know, being able to share data, being able to see where you need to make up, it will help both. And I hope that's how it works, because then we see both of them move up together and get back to the top, which would be great to see both riders back at the top.
Yeah, it would. It really would, to be honest. I'd love to see it. So, Marc Marquez obviously did the test, lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
He
He also had arm pump for the half of the season.
And what?
And he's gone and done the testing, done pretty well, and gone, oh yeah, by the way, guys, I've got arm pump.
I thought he was a robot.
Yeah.
Why does he get arm pump?
That's a good point. I thought aliens didn't get arm pump. Aliens don't have arms to pump.
I think he's played a blinder here, because he's gone and had his arm pump surgery yesterday, and now he's currently on a plane to Japan to go to Honda Thanks Day, but he's got to get out of jail free card here. He doesn't have to ride any bikes. He doesn't have to ride that Honda because he's got arm pump. He's recovering from the surgery.
Would Ducati let him if
Well, he's still a Honda rider, isn't he?
Is he still a Honda rider now? He's not officially.
Yeah, until the 31st of December. Toprak, in 2 hours' time, Toprak will be a BMW rider.
Hey.
It's a 10 p.m. on the 30th right now. In 2 hours' time, he's already changed his profile picture on Instagram. In 2 hours' time, Toprak will be a BMW rider.
That's going to be interesting as well.
I can't wait for that. But yeah, he's already changed his picture to his BMW testing suit. So, very excited for that. But that's a story for another time. But I do think that Marquez on that Ducati, interesting one, because I wanted to mention this earlier. So, Martin has said they've all looked at Marquez's data, of course, because why wouldn't you? And Martin said, me and Marquez are quite similar. We're pretty similar. And Ane has actually come out and said that Marquez is the best at braking out of all the Ducati riders already.
With arm pump.
Has said that, yeah, with arm pump. But Martin has gone, Marquez rides quite similar to me. Marquez is using pretty much a base setting and is barely pushing. So Martin is in for a shock when Marquez actually tried, because the wheels were in line, he wasn't sliding it, he wasn't backing it in and snaking the rear or nothing. He was just riding to get information out of the bike. He wasn't pushing. So because I remember when Cal Quattro said that he looked at Marquez's data, tried to ride like Marquez and couldn't even manage one corner the way, if Cal tried to ride the way Marquez did, he'd crash every corner because of the way he rode. I just can't wait for Marquez to push and then look at his data and go, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, Martin does sort of hang off the bike a lot, and I could see similarities. I think he was probably just saying it to hype himself up. He's one of those people that is very big, and he's got to big himself up, and sort of he has this persona, which we've talked about before, because obviously people see that as the cockiness side of him, which I don't think it is, but he's backing himself. He's going, oh yeah.
He's got a method act, basically.
Yeah,
yep.
100%.
Yeah, if you don't back yourself, then no one else is going to back you,
Exactly. So
you got to back yourself. But yeah, it's interesting that he's already the best breaker as well from Anea, as said. So,
but again, is that just you don't know if these people are just saying things.
How do you even define the best breaker?
Almost?
What does that even mean? Latest, hardest, and most stable? What? What?
Yeah, I think
because I'd say Brad Binder if I was saying the best breaker.
Visually, yeah.
It steps out and all that's
DG
cool.
is the best Ducati breaker at the moment, isn't he? I think.
But how?
What does that mean?
So I would believe that the best breaker will be the person who breaks the latest, sheds as much speed off as physically possible before entering the corner, and carries the most corner speed. So if you can have all those three, so you can carry extra corner speed, brake later so you've got more speed entering the corner enemy, and brake in a shorter amount of distance than the rest of them, you can gain 3/10 on that alone. If you can do it right.
Yeah, but if it looks cool, then surely that's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Style points.
Hell yeah. But I've got, Marcus's 6 impressions of Ducati, because I said earlier about he spoke and you could hear it. So 6 things that he has said is that the rear grip is excellent.
Well, that was Honda's main thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Less physically demanding than the Honda, meaning he'll have more energy to fight. More turn than expected, so it can turn better, basically. Is not comfortable with ergonomics yet, which is fair enough. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's not comfortable with ergonomics and he's already this fast is just mad.
Pure gushing, man.
You're having a fangirl moment.
You are.
I'm a little bit. It's better when giving inclined gas, whatever that means. I'm guessing that just means acceleration. And then, if you brake too hard, the rear of the bike will lift, which happens with every bike.
It's a bike, yeah.
So, you brake too hard, it will really
You ever
lift.
done that on a bicycle?
Oh,
Pick yourself up over the handlebars?
Yeah. But, yes, those are his impressions. Very intriguing. And
you're like a kid on Christmas.
you are.
Yeah, because
can't help yourself.
It's cool. You've seen like an alien switching to the best bike. It's just, for me, it's fascinating. Not even as like a fan of any rider. It's just fascinating to see how he can translate what he has in terms of skill and bike knowledge that is so supposedly better than everybody else. How that'll translate to a Ducati. I just want to see the full potential of him on the best bike, because he's never really had the best bike. 2012, it was superb. 14, very good bike still. 15, piece of crap. And then, we go from there. I just want to see the supposed best rider on the best bike and just see how much he can just decimate people. If he can even do that. He could come 12th every race next year and retire at the end of the year.
He's a very different Marc Marquez. I'm thinking more mental side of things, after everything he's been through, the fact that he's thought about retirement and stuff like that. Can he mentally handle another championship charge? Don't know. Hasn't had to do it for 4 years.
Against riders he's never battled for a championship before. He's never battled against Bagnaia for a championship before.
Yeah, and we've just talked about how that's his biggest strength. So
yeah. Like, a lot of these riders he never properly fought against in a battle. You've got Aero these days that is so much more prominent and stops riders from overtaking. You got the ride height devices as well.
Surely he's never battled a championship against any of them.
No, that's what I mean. Like, the closest battle he had was
Fabio.
Dovi, really.
Oh,
Fabio, yeah.
One, but,
of course, yeah. That wasn't even a championship battle because he was a rookie and finished 5th overall.
Yeah.
But it was impressive.
It was very impressive.
And he was involved in quite a lot of the races.
Of scraps, yeah. So it's just, for me, interesting. And then, obviously, you've got Pedro Costa, of course, who, again, has done what he's done in the junior categories. Marquez also had a not even as impressive time in the junior categories. Valentino Rossi wasn't even that good in the junior categories in such a short amount of time. I don't think we've ever seen a rider rise this fast with this much pedigree to win a Moto3 championship as a rookie, for example. And then he hops on the KTM, not the Ducati. So again, it's interesting to see if he can make his talent shine over the ability of the KTM. So again, I'm very interested in that. I'm very intrigued in that. I'm intrigued about a lot of things. I want to see Marini do well. I want to see Morbidelli do well. Next year is going to be very interesting, I think, for many, many, many reasons.
And we say that at the start of every year. Obviously, there are some really big points. Obviously, like with Marquez being on a Ducati, but at the start of last year, or this year, if you will, we were like, Bastianini's on a factory bike. It's going to be amazing. Miguel's on an Aprilia. It's going to be amazing. There were all these points where we were like, this is going to be great, and many things disappointed this year.
Yeah. It's because we hype him up too much, maybe.
That's it. And are we in danger of doing that this year? Who knows?
I think potentially, but then it is Marc Marquez.
It's Marquez and Acosta, two very exceptional talents.
Riders who have already proven their worth. Miguel Oliveira was a decent rider. I mean, Enea Bastianini, he was 3rd in the world on a year-old bike. That's exceptional.
He's a world champion.
We're not even... Yeah, exactly. We're not even bigging up Bez for doing the same thing this year, anywhere near as much as we bigged up Enea Bastianini.
That's true.
And it's weird. Do you not think that's weird? Bez literally has mimicked Enea Bastianini last year, and we're not saying nothing about it. But the media hasn't said much about it either.
I think it was very different, though, for Enea to come out and win the first race of the season the way that he did. I don't know. And he took a lot of battles to Pecco in quite a few different races throughout the season, whereas I can't really think of a time that Bez and Bagnaia really, really battled against each other.
No,
I can't think of any really good battles this year for a first.
Well, the fact that it's the first time since 1949 that we haven't had a back-to-back winner is mental.
I mean, there were. If you actually sit and think about it, there was definitely battles on track, but for the fact that none really jumped.
Yeah, but they were short. Like Marini and Marquez had a little battle in Qatar, and then it died off.
But like for first, there wasn't
no
paint
like
swapping for
at
first.
Valencia. I was like, oh, Martin and Pecco, and then it just
the race with Brad Binder, Pecco, and Martin.
That was a good one. Yeah,
Pecco went with that wild move on the outside.
Yeah,
no, that was a battle.
That was good. That was a battle in Thailand. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's a good point. Good point.
Okay, we had
Fabio fought with Martin in India for the podium. I'm nearly sure.
Yeah.
Australia last lap.
Yeah, Australia's always good though.
But only the last lap. Everything else was just like.
Yeah, you're like okay. Yeah, it's gonna be, shall we say, interesting next year.
Let's not hype anybody, and then we can't be disappointed.
Yeah,
it's going to be mediocre next year.
Yep,
everyone's
going to do okay, just okay.
Yeah,
just watch the highlights.
Season.
Yeah.
Do we think that anyone's going to win the championship at all?
No, no one. I don't think anyone's going to win it.
No. They're all going to score 0 points.
They're just going to get participation medals.
Yeah.
Oh no, what they'll do. How many rounds is it? 22, is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
They're not going to do the maths on that.
No, I was just going to say what they'll do is finish in every position at one point during the year. So they finish at the end of the season with equal points, but it's not possible. But yeah, so they'll all have one win to their name, but also all have 1 second to their name and 1 third and 1 fourth.
Oh,
but, yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
I was just making a little thing because we're saying that nothing's going to happen next year. So
yeah, it'll be.
I'm just saying that it'll score 0 points.
Whole championship will be mute. Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I think that's. I think we've covered everything there.
What happened with the predictions championship?
No, we're doing that next time.
Oh.
Yeah, because we've still got the start of year predictions that we talked about, didn't we?
True.
At the start of last year, we predicted who would be world champion and all that.
Are there points on offer for that?
Sorry?
Are there points on offer for that?
No, it's just a fun little thing.
No, okay. I've already looked at mine. They were terrible.
As expected.
Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good, okay? I like to dream. And next year, I'm not going to dream, okay?
Nice. Okay, that's fun.
Well then.
Okay, well, I think that's all we've got time for. I think we've covered everything.
I think so. Someone's going to say something about something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm good. Well, I'm going to go to bed.
But then, yeah, we'd run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, and I'm getting sick of talking to you too, so I'm joking.
He's very kind to us.
Mister, I need to eat my dinner before I join this podcast episode.
I'm bloody eating all day.
Can you do 8 o'clock? No. Can you do 8:30 then? Oh, wait, I'm going to be late.
Oh, I'm making my dinner.
Unreal.
Oh, I'm bathing my cat.
Give the cat a bath.
The cat had soap on it. The cat was not going to die if you didn't give it a bath that
his
second.
fur and his skin and all that. At least I care about my animal, you know.
You put soap on the cat. The cat was going to be fine.
It's his fault.
Nah.
People sound like I'm cruel to animal. The cat just was a dick and I had soapy hands and needed to move him.
Oh, so...
Good Lord.
You sound like you're the one being
I had
cruel.
to wash him.
Who washes their cat?
Well, I didn't want him to lick himself and lick the soap off because that would be bad for him as well.
What kind of soap do you have?
No,
do you just wash your hands with bleach?
Yeah, no, it was like Carex, but I just don't want him ingesting Carex, you know?
Specifically says it's going to kill cats on the label.
Maybe.
Not for feline consumption.
Ingested.
Yeah.
Can cats eat soap? Googling it.
No, you have to be
specific.
specific.
No, it's not fine for a cat to eat soap.
No, not if it eats like a bar of
the
soap.
fact that you actually Googled that and had to... Folk are going to be at your door soon.
cats could have diarrhea if they eat soap.
Well, who'd have thought? What's this podcast
Anyway. I don't know.
Oh
right, anyway.
Thanks for
Thank
listening.
you for listening. We're back next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.